Hello and welcome. I hope you can read me. Please let me know if you can hear the microphone and everything's fine. Yeah, that's fine, thank you. So, hi, Jerome and Sandy. Oh, I cannot read all the names, it's too much already. Where is my chat window? Here it is. Yeah, we will have a 10-minute countdown for people to arrive, and then I will start with the sound design things. Yeah, thank you, Erwin. Yesterday I got this award, which is the German Schallwelle Award, and it says Artist National 2023. So thank you very much for taking part in the voting. There was a public voting and also a jury voting, and they decided to give me Hello Neptune. And they decided, no, not on the keyboard, Neptune. Yeah, and they decided to give me this Best Artist 2023 award, which is very, very nice. Thank you very much. Hello, Neptune. Neptune is also here with us. Yeah, the voice will be louder because the music will be quieter later. This is music from my last CD, and so it's of course mastered and mixed, and maybe I can tune it a bit down already. Yeah, I think the balance will be good later. Jerome asks, over the years, how have you come to a balance between soft and hardware synthesizers? I think that, yeah, like you mentioned, it's a balance. I'm not against or promoting one over the other. For me, it's both tools, and it's always about the question, what tools do I need to make the ideas that I have become reality? And that can be a hardware synthesizer or a software synthesizer. So it depends on a lot of factors if I want to use a hardware or software synthesizer for something. Sandy asks, do you intend to record and then release the live concert in Wuppertal in March? Yes, I do. I will bring my cameras and record everything, and then I will probably release 2 videos, because I'm planning to play 2 sets, and they will both be in a separate video, I think. Probably in April, I believe. The music will not be completely new, because I'm also going to play tracks from my albums and stuff from the home concerts. So yeah, I think it will be still interesting to see, maybe. Yeah, man, that's right. I'm using Pigments today for no apparent reason. Of course, this is not sponsored by Arturia or anything. I was specifically asked to do a stream with Pigments, because obviously a lot of people use it. And also I showed it quite often in other streams, so I thought it would be a nice idea to have a Pigments only stream today. Hi Tom, greetings to Canada. Hello to Heidelberg. What is a Surge XT? I don't know that synthesizers. Yeah, Pigments is very versatile. I mean, you have the analog engine, you have wavetables, you have samples, you have a harmonic oscillator. It's very good. So Danva wants to know, how often do you use samples and sampling in your music? It depends on how you define using samples. I use a lot of synthesizers from sample libraries, like the Livestream synthesizers, like Bioscape or Lunaris, or also Omnisphere by Spectrasonics. And these are sample-based instruments where you have a lot of samples. And then I don't really often sample my own stuff. I don't have good microphones, and it takes a lot of... Neptune, geht auch mal von dem Mikro weg. And it takes a lot of effort to make a really good recording of something, so I don't really use samples, my own recordings a lot. That's a question I can quickly answer. Which Valhalla VST verb is the most important to you? Probably vintage verb. Today I decided to use Supermassive a lot because it's a free plugin and so it's easy for you to follow along. But usually it's vintage verb that I use for most of my sounds. Hello to Brazil. Hello to Russia. My Russian translator is not here today, so I can't read and translate in real time what you wrote. So I will just say hello and hope that you wrote something nice. Custom wavetables, yeah, that is something I look forward to doing in Zebra. I played a lot with the Zebra 3 beta, which is a mind-blowing piece of software art. I'm really looking forward to the release of the full version. And there you can also draw your wavetables. Yeah, that's true. Pigments feel like what you would get if the Iridium were a soft synth. Yeah, that is probably true. They have a lot in common. What Pigments does not have is a full-blown FM section. With the Iridium, you can literally load DX7 patches, and you have the full potential of the classic Yamaha DX synthesizer series. That is something that Pigments cannot do. Also, there is no resonator engine. There is something like a physical modeling engine in the Iridium, and that is not part of Pigments. But still, I believe that it's very fair to compare these two to each other. Surge XT is an open source VST from the creator of VAZ. Also, never heard of that. I'm very sorry. Hi, Marius. Hi from Poland. Yeah, I think the countdown is almost done. Let's see where the hell is my window. Oh, we already have 150 people here on the stream. That's very nice. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Iceland is there. Fantastic. Yeah, thank you for your congratulations on the Schallwelle Award. Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they implement in next version of Pigments. Okay, the 10-minute countdown is over. About the modus operandi, I will go and concentrate on creating a sound, first sound in Pigments, and then I will go back to the chat. So if you have any questions, it would be a wise idea to wait until I am back in the chat, because like in the next 10 minutes or so, I will just talk and show you something that I do here on the computer and not look at the chat for you. All right, so let's switch to this view over here. And Neptune, you really have to go somewhere else because I need to have access to the keyboard. Please go here for a second. Would that be something? Thank you, Neptune. Now he's coming back. He is obsessed about lying down on the keyboard and the mouse recently. It's very hard to work like that. All right. I prepared something for you already. And what I'm trying to create first is this kind of soundscape. These are 3 different sounds, and when I do pads and drones and all kinds of ambient sounds, it's always about layering and finding several sounds that sound good together. This is also something I will try to cover in this video. I just leave them here for reference, so if I forgot something I can have a quick look. Maybe the result will sound different. So let's start with a new instance of Pigments. There is something I like about the new version, the new update. Let me see if this is completely on the screen for you. Yeah, it is perfect. What I like is that here on that drop-down menu, you can always click on New Preset, because when you load Pigments on your computer, it might be possible that one of the presets is loaded. And here it's now possible to create a new preset where you will just have a simple sine wave. Also, it's possible to save as opening preset. That is fantastic, because then you will always have the default patch. I'm the kind of init patch guy. I don't like opening into a preset because I will probably not use that preset in my music and it will take more time to load. So it's really nice that you have this here now. Before you needed to find a file on the hard drive and type in some command line stuff in order to load that default patch. So this is now here, part of the stock stuff. Really cool. In Pigments, you have 2 engines. And I want to switch the engine to analog. And then you see that you have a classic 3 oscillator layout that reminds me a lot of the Moog, the Mini Moog synthesizer. And the first oscillator is should be a square wave, like this. By the way, I forgot to mention I'm designing a pad sound now. Should have said that before I started. So I have my square wave with some pulse width, and of course I want that to be modulated. So I'm going down to the LFO section. Take LFO1, maybe switch it to a triangle waveform, and then I apply this to the pulse width. You can of course decide what speed you like, but something like that could work. The second oscillator will also be a square wave with the same pitch, and I'm using the fine tune knob to create some kind of drifting or phasing. Pigments already has some drifting implemented. It's not like the exact same frequency when you do nothing, but if you apply a little bit of detune, it kind of sound nice. Of course, not too much. Maybe something like that. Also, I'm taking the same LFO1 for the pulse width modulation, but this time in the negative direction. All right, so I'm putting this down. So you see that these 2 things move like this, not in the same direction. And so you have some interesting phasing going on. Oscillator 3 is also going to be a square wave, but this time I'm tuning this up by 7 semitones. Why am I doing that? Because now the third oscillator always plays a 5th compared to the root note. If my note that I play on the keyboard is a D, then oscillator 3 will give me an A. Alright, so I always have the 5th, or if I played an E on the keyboard, it gave me a B. So it's always a 5th interval between those oscillators. And this is basically why I'm doing this. It's my idea of emphasizing a certain overtone harmonic. Each note has a root note, and then it creates a lot of overtones. It's easily to see if you take something like this, like an analyzer. If I had only one note, like this, you see that this is the fundamental frequency, kind of the root note. And all these are overtones. If I had only a sine wave, you see there are no overtones. There's only one fundamental, and then there is no overtones. And what I do when I have this third oscillator, then I change, and I change the overtone spectrum, and I bring in another set of overtone harmonics. So it's not about playing fifths, it's more like expanding the sound of that patch. All right. Also, why not put the same LFO on that one as well? So this is maybe a good starting point. Now I want to use the filter because this does not sound like a pad at all. And here in Pigments, if you click on the name of the filter, you can select between a wide range of filter modules. I believe that the SEM filter, which is modeled after the Oberheim and Sequential synthesizers, is a 12 dB filter. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's something like that. And the good thing about this filter is you can really crank up the resonance and it will never sound too harsh or annoying. It's still a nice sound. Like this. I really like that. And I want this to go down each time I press a note. So I'm switching over to my envelopes tab and create a very slow falling envelope. You see when I press a note, there's this little orange dot, which shows me what's going on here. Of course, you don't hear anything because I didn't assign it to something. So I will click on this plus icon here and then increase the amount of modulation from the envelope. We can make it a bit slower, of course. And maybe like this. Also, make sure to increase the release, in this case, to maximum, because if we increase the release on the VCA amp envelope, and we don't have the release here what happens. Each time I lift the note, the sound will be kind of cut off, which is stupid. So always increase the release here, so that in the release curve, the filter will just continue to slowly close. I think this is what we want. Of course, we also need to increase the attack of the amp, the VCA envelope, so that we have a smooth thing going on here. And now it's about fine-tuning and your personal taste. If you want to have the sound a bit brighter, you can increase the frequency of the filter. Maybe also increase the amount of modulation from the envelope. Yeah, I think this is nice. We can then do some minor changes by having another LFO which affects the fine-tuning. first always try it with more drastic values to check if it's the right speed, and then move it back to reasonable amount. Also, it would be nice to have some spatial movement going on. LFO3 is by default set to free running, which means that it's a synchronized LFO. It's one LFO for all voices. The other ones are re-triggered for each note that you play, but free running means that for all the voices that you have, the LFO will be at the same position. And that is, I think, a good idea for the voice panorama. So I attach this to... Yeah, this is good. So you hear that the whole sound is moving left to right. If it was on like poly, and I would trigger the notes individually, it would still be a very stereo experience, but in this case I want to have it like this. Very, very simple sound design, nothing special. I always like to start with simple things when I create my music. Most sounds are not very complicated, usually. Then, of course, we need effects, and this time I decided to use the internal delay of Pigments. So I hit the Effects tab, and the timing should be... By the way, I'm at around 80 BPM here in Bitwig, and I go for the dotted fourth notes. Increase the feedback to almost full, and then also filter out some of the frequencies. So I'm not playing something, but it's still giving us a nice tail. Yeah, this should be fine. Maybe also want to sound a bit darker. Yeah, this is cool. It's a long, very long feedback. But the reverb has to be an external plugin, and for this I'm using Valhalla Supermassive. This one is legally and literally free to download from the Valhalla DSP page, so I thought I could use it in the stream. This preset is called Cygnus X1. It's under Reverbs Large, but I used some minor different values for some of the parameters, so if you want to make sure that it sounds exactly the same, please make sure to have a look at the screen right now. And yeah, how does it sound with the Supermassive? Make sure not to be too hot on the levels. With the delay going on, it might overdrive and clip, which we don't want. Yeah, so take it down here a little bit. I think this is already the first sound. I will improvise and play some chords. I'm in D minor, so I will just play a bit of D and F and G and A, and record a little clip into Bitwig, and then I'm going to go to the chat and answer your questions. All right, that should be sound 1. This is sound 1, and let's see what you... Do you think Zebra 3 will be Brain Blast? Well, yeah, absolutely. It's hardcore. This thing is just giving you the... I think it's like a Ferrari. It's just giving you the full power without any attention of can you use it? If you can't, it's not their problem, you know? It's just a tool for sound design for real professionals, I think. It's not looking nice, it's not giving you the interface of a nice analog synthesizer, it's just the full synthesis power. So that will be, of course, a huge brain fuck when it's out, I think. A polybrute with more voices. Well, I think they already didn't they? I think there was an announcement for another synthesizer from Arturia with more voices, but I'm not sure. It could also be another synthesizer, but I think, or maybe I dreamt that? Was it a dream? I'm not sure. I think they announced something recently with a new synthesizer coming out. Hello to Munich, hello to the Netherlands. Hello Nick. You'll wake up in the Foreign Legion one day soon if you're not careful. Oh, what's going on there? Yeah, please keep it respectful and nice in the chat, all right? I don't want to throw anyone out, but I will definitely do if there's any kind of unfriendly name calling or whatever. Please be nice. Yes, this is about music and being nice. Thank you. Signs of Life is already here. Hi, Chris. Triple says hi to Neptune. Yeah, Neptune is, he retreated to the couch. He was not happy with me removing him from sleeping on the keyboard. Very sorry. Alright, so there's not really any new questions, so I will continue to the second sound number 2, here with Pigments. And this is a real classic, I would say. A classic in terms of a sound that I have in almost, maybe like half of my tracks. It's either that or another bass sound, which I showed, I think, last week. So let me open a new Pigments. And I would call that a drone. The question is, what is a pad and what is a drone? I think a pad is something that you can play and where you have different notes and maybe some nice melodies going on. And a drone is something that is just sitting there with one note or a cluster, a set of notes, and where you don't have any movement on the area of new notes or the tonal spectrum. It's just like one sound. And there's one sound that I really like to do a lot. And this goes with the analog engine as well. And of course I need to tune it down, 12 seminotes, and then I will have a second oscillator which goes down 24. So it's one octave in between them, whatever synthesizer you use. By the way, you can do all of that with any other synthesizer which has like a similar layout, all right? So you don't need to buy Pigments. It's just Pigments today, but if you're working with another synthesizer right now, it's fantastic. It's about giving you some ideas of how I create sounds. It's not about advertising this plugin. That would be stupid. All right, so I have two oscillators, two sawtooth oscillators, and now I'm using the unison. Unison means that it duplicates the oscillators and detunes them and sets them apart in the stereo field. So I do maybe a 4-voice unison. Find a good spot for the detune. It should be something between, yes, it's detuned, and hell no, it's too dissonant. And then I also remove some of the stereo width. Should not be that wide. And then I bring down the cutoff frequency until this becomes a very low sound. Is it maybe? Maybe another octave down? Ah, that's good. Maybe some emphasis on the lower. Yeah, this is nice. Then, of course, we need some attack and release. And here we need some reverb. Again, supermassive, but not such a big reverb. Maybe a medium. What do we have here? This one. Yeah, this is good, I think. Maybe I should. Yeah, just to give it some more width. And then I create a new clip and I just put this note in here, which is of course a D. And then, why is it a D? Because I told you that it's D minor, okay? So this has to be a D. Then this clip should loop after 16 bars. And then see how it benefits the other sound that we already created. So this was the first one. And then I will support this pad with that drone. This could be it already. Maybe I want to show you some other trick that I like to do. Could it stop, please? Hello? Yeah. What I want to do is I want to use this function generator. That's easier to just show you than to explain it in 20 minutes. I will make something that looks like this, which is a little spike that runs through the sound. And I want to route this to the filter frequency. So I click on the plus icon, find the function 1, and then this happens. Of course, this is way too fast, so I take the rate function, I set it to Hertz, and then set it to a very slow value, so that this kind of bump only happens not so often. This is too much, of course, so I can either bring down this dot here, or decrease the level of modulation. Yeah, why not? Could work like this. Oh, that's cool. You can play with the curves here, which is something that I really like. All synthesizers should have something like that. It makes a huge difference if you have something like this or that. Let's play together. Mark wants to know, is there something like Valhalla Supermassive in cheap hardware? Ooh, that's a tough question. I would say no. There are some effect pedals which are widely used in the community, like the Blue Sky or Big Sky from Strymon, the Eventide Reverb. But they are not cheap, you know? And they are not giving you 20 different algorithms. The fun thing is, it would be cheaper to buy a very old laptop, maybe a 10-year-old MacBook, plug in an audio interface and run Supermassive on it. It would probably be cheaper than buying one of these highly expensive pedals. Of course, I understand that your question is probably aiming at the idea of not using software instead of hardware, which can be there can be good reasons to do so, of course. But this is definitely not in the cheap version. And I mean, Supermassive is free. You know, that's the crazy thing. It's a free plugin. You don't have to pay for it, and it sounds so fantastic. Yeah, difficult question, I think. Then there are, of course, a lot of internal reverbs. Kevin mentioned the OP6, Alesis Mid Reverb, Quad Reverb. Yeah, I have that also in the rack here on the right. Internal reverbs can be good, but I must honestly say that when it comes to effects, I always go for software. I never use the internal reverb of the synthesizers, even in high-end stuff like the Iridium. I still prefer the reverb of software. And also, please keep in mind that if you buy an expensive pedal, it will be digital. There is a DSP inside that runs some code. All right, and so where's the difference of having that code running on your DAW? Yeah, maybe this is too much opinion for Sunday evening, but you asked, so here is my my take on this. Yeah, all cool. I sing the body electric. I didn't mean any disrespect. I was just quickly browsing through the chat, and I know that you are a nice guy, so all good. All right. Let me jump to sound number 3, where I prepared something which is maybe a little bit more going to the complicated territory. But I think you are also here for the complicated stuff, right? You're not here for the simple stuff. Why do we hear nothing? Okay. Pigments pad sound number 2. We had one pad, one drone, and now I want to make another pad sound. Here it's already about doing some planning and thinking. Making music and creating sounds is like playing chess. The first move is always free. You can do almost everything with the first move, as long as it's like in the rules, in the rule book. But whatever you do is free for the first move. But then the next steps kind of follow what you did in your first step. I had one pad sound kind of in the mid-range, and I had a drone in the very low-end range. So what I now try to do is create a sound that is playing more in the higher range. Because in the end, when you play your music, let me bring in a frequency analyzer here. This is what we already have. And you see that we have a lot of stuff going on in the low end, and we also have something going on in the mid-range, but at kind of 2K, it's going down. And then we don't have anything. Then we have something here which is very interesting. What is that? Is that aliasing from one of the synthesizers. What is this? This should not be there. Where is it coming from? Ah, it's from this sound. Very interesting. I will investigate this at a later time, but this should not be there, I think. Where was I? I wanted to explain that I always try to fill the whole frequency range of what we can hear. So the next sound should be in the higher range. And for this, I use the wavetable engine, and you can load your own wavetables in here. You see that I already imported some stuff from the Iridium. I imported some of the Luftroom stuff. I imported the various TI wavetables and some other interesting stuff. But here I want to use one of the stock wavetables, and there's one called Additive Twin. Don't mix it up with Additive Thin. These are two different wavetables. This is Additive Thin and this is Twin. And it sounds like this. It's a nice wavetable with a lot of high frequencies, high overtones, and this is exactly what we need right now. I take LFO1 and I set it to the sample and hold waveform, which is a random generator. I don't know why all the waveforms are correctly displayed here in Pigments, but the sample and hold gives you just the image of a square wave. It doesn't really make sense. It's the same image as the square wave, but it's definitely a different waveform. So make sure that you are on that one. And this should be modulating the position. I click on the plus icon and bring in LFO1 for this. And make sure that the modulation goes all the way from the top of the wavetable down to the bottom. Like this. To give this a little bit of variation and modulation, I will now take LFO2, also with that sample and hold waveform. I set it to free running because I want one LFO for all the voices. And with this LFO, I'll modulate the rate of LFO1. All right, so I have two LFOs. One LFO is modulating the wavetable, and the second LFO is modulating the speed of LFO1. You can do that by clicking on the plus icon and increase LFO2. So what will happen here? This will become an irregular modulation. It's not at the same speed, it's moving faster and slower. That would be a starting point. While we are at this, I take LFO3 also with sample and hold and a slower modulation speed and put it on the voice panorama so that the guys who listen to your music on a headphone have a nice experience going on. Yeah, maybe something like that. Deactivate engine 1, I go to engine 2 and select wavetable also. But this time we are just using the sine wave. And what I want to do is you know that I love to play with these modulators down here. You have a frequency modulation. You have a wave folder. And stuff that I don't even understand, but makes a fantastic stuff going on with your music. The first one should be set to ring modulation. And now it doesn't really sound that much different than the frequency modulation because the modulator is still set to a ratio, which means that it's always in perfect sync to the note that you play. I don't want that, so I set this to hertz, and now the modulator has a fixed frequency, and this frequency will affect our wavetable. This is a ring modulator. By the way, if you want to spend a lot of money on a ring modulator, you can also get this one, which I bought, I think, for 200 euros when I bought it, because it was still available at the shops, and I just got it on the used market. Yeah, today it's, I think, ridiculously expensive. This ring modulator goes on 180 hertz. And with each different note, it will give you an interesting overtone. So what I do is I go back to my function generator. And on that function generator, I draw in some little spikes, which makes it look like a video game level of Sonic the Hedgehog or something. Maybe something like that. Again, set the rate to hertz and make it much slower. And I put this on the ring modulator so that it creates these little sparkling things. Also, I forgot to set the filter to a high-pass filter, which now will move the low frequencies out of my sound. So I have just these little drops. And if you play different notes, you have different drops. You could even reduce the volume here to 0 and apply this function to the volume. Then you only get, that's interesting, so you only get these little drops here without anything, without the sine wave. Interesting. And then maybe we could also take another LFO. Well, we don't have another LFO. Damn it, we used all LFOs. Let's take one of the slower ones, maybe LFO 3, and modulate the modulator of the ring modulator. Was that an actual sentence? Not sure. So that it will give more variation to this kind of drops. It sounds almost like rain falling down somewhere. Let's activate the first engine again. What did I do? Ah, that was wrong. Sorry. Engine 1. We need to increase the attack and release, of course, to make it sound like a pet. Yeah, this is interesting. It's almost a bit dissonant, but this is not going to play the main melody. It's sitting on top of the other sounds that I created. Here I need an external delay. In this case, I'm using Supermassive again. And also, we have not only reverb, but also echo in this plugin. So I go to the echo presets and look for something called Glorious Quarter Note. And maybe decrease the depth and also the density. Density means that the delay transforms into reverb after some time. But Supermassive is doing a lot of other interesting things at the same time, so it's not just an echo, it's also, yeah, like I said, doing interesting things. After that, we still need a big reverb, which will be the Cygnus X again. Let's see how this sounds in. Oh, that's nice. I switched to the other camera so that you can see what I play now. When I have a sound like this, I will not constantly play notes. I am going to play just a few notes and then have them as little kind of accents on top of the other stuff. So let's play back the other sounds. And then I will record some single notes. In this case, less is more, I think, because the echo still carries the sound from one note to the other. I feel like I want to reduce the filter frequency of our first sound a little bit. It's too bright for my taste. Let's solo it. Yeah, this is better. You see that there is a big bump here below 50 Hertz from that pad sound. That should not be there. I don't know why it's there, but I will kill it right away. It might give us some trouble in the mix later. So I take a look with the equalizer where my actual music is happening and then cut it off there. Don't forget to save, very important. Yeah, this is nice, I think. Let's have a look at the chat. If you... Maybe I reduce the volume here a little bit and see what you wrote. Where was I last time? Fredrik wants to know, if you don't go for Valhalla reverb, which others do you know? Do you use? Well, let's have a look at my favorite plugins list. You see, the set answer is no. I don't use any other. These are my my effects that I use. This is a lot of special stuff. No, I literally only use the Valhalla stuff. I use Yuhi color copy for delay sometimes, but this is just a delay, it's not a reverb. So in the reverb territory, it's completely Valhalla DSP. Also, again, I bought that stuff with my own money, and it's not a sponsored thing here. Yeah, Chris, Science of Life mentioned a very important point here. Not forgetting to mention hardware reverbs don't do offline bouncing, so you have to wait to render every track. That is right. I mean, there is one effect that I use quite a lot. Where is it? Let me fetch it. This one is the microcosm from Hologram, or the other way around. Is it the hologram from microcosm? I have no idea. It's a special delay and pitch shifting thing. I could show it in another stream. This is something that I could not recreate with software yet. And yeah, when I use that, I need to manually record each track individually. Mark, I'm not sure if I get your question. You mean probably if I could like edit the live stream? Yeah, it could be possible, but it would require a lot of time. Tomasz wants to know, is this going onto your channel or is it one-off? No, it's staying there, I hope. If it's not like demonetized and taken down by YouTube by some copyright claim, whatever, this happens sometimes, it will stay on the channel, I think. Yeah, I don't know anything about the zoom. Oh yeah, the digitone, I mean, all the electron delay and reverb are not bad. I use them also a lot when I make my live sets. Aaron wants to know something about Stepic for creating it for percussion sounds. Yeah, we could do another stream with Stepic in the next weeks. By the way, I had the idea in mind of doing these production streams also on a weekly basis, so that I would have my home concerts once a month and then the production live streams on 3 other Sundays. And then I could pick a topic for each of them. So today we are talking about pigments, and then it could be Stepic at another stream. Samples for games and videos asks, Martin, Pigments doesn't load the system too much. Well, I have something... Where is it? No, thank you. Let's have a look. Right now, this is my CPU. On my M1 Mac. Base model, nothing fancy, nothing Max Pro Ultra or whatever. And this is not just Bitwig, alright? It's also OBS having 2 cameras running, and it's also streaming into YouTube all on the same computer. If I had this streaming and video stuff off, I would have probably CPU usage of 20% or so. We can also have a look at the memory. Oh yeah, actually you can see it right here. It's very interesting. OBS, I mean, out of this 50 to 60% of my CPU usage, at the moment OBS is taking most of it. 83% go to OBS for the streaming stuff. Capturing the video stuff, sending it to YouTube. That's quite a lot. Same thing, the other way around is for the memory. Bitwig is taking 5 gigabytes And the streaming is taking 1 GB. By the way, I have not noticed any kind of difference for this new, where is it? Can you actually see it? We have this multi-core support button here, but I don't see any difference in the performance. And as you can already see, we already have multi-core going on, right? So Bitwig already uses and distributes everything to the different cores. So yeah, that's fine. Anna Motion asks, "Hi Martin, hope you're well." Thank you. Yes, I am very well. Having a good time. Thank you for asking. I hope you're well too. Nick wants to know, is there any reason why you not used the LFO in Bitwig? No. I mean, at the moment I have enough LFOs in Pigment, so I don't need them. Yeah, some more questions about the CPU stuff. Well, good. That CPU tool, Artman, it's a free thing. You have to just to Google for... Let's bring it up again. It's called Stats, S-T-A-T-S, S-T-A-T-S. And it's a free tool, and yeah, you can monitor your CPU usage. I got this one because I was thinking about upgrading my computer, and I wanted to have a look on the actual numbers and see if there is actually a reason to get a new computer, because I wanted to know how much of my CPU and RAM am I actually using before I spend money on a new computer. So that was why I wanted to have that. I was also getting a lot of nice help from a guy from England called Stefan, who had a chat with me about this. So if you're watching, thank you again for this. Thank you a lot. I'm Phonics Blue for your donation. Thank you very much. All right. So these were 3 sounds. I could stop the stream now. I could also create a new sound. Let's make another sound. Maybe also something with sampling. That would be maybe interesting. I already showed you what's happening there. Why is there... I loaded color copy to the master bus. That was smart. Fantastic. I hope you learned a lot today. Don't do effects on the master chain, all right? That would be something. We already covered the analog and wavetable engine, and I also want to go for the sample engine today. I will not use the harmonic oscillator because I have not figured out what this actually does as of today. So let's go to the sample thing. And of course we have a nice piano here. Yeah, that's fantastic. Let's find something that we can use for create a nice pad. We already have some nice categories here, which is very useful. Apart from Pigments 3, 3, 5, 4, that's not useful. Shrouded atmospheres, what the hell is that? It's giving us a preview already. Yeah. Okay, some strings. Yeah, this is a good idea. What I want to show you is how I use granular synthesis. What is this? Usually when you have a sample and play a note, it will play through the whole sample. Yeah, and then the sample is over and then you can loop it, of course, but that's usually not not very helpful. So with the granular engine, it will always play back a certain part of the sample. You can move through this with the start thing, like this. And the default setting isn't too bad here already. You could change the density, which means how many of these sample playheads do you have. If you do it like this, you have a constant noise. I decreased the volume of Bitwig. Why doesn't anyone say something? And with the size, you can determine how long this kind of fraction of the sample will be. Alright, so I think now it's clear what this means. But for pad sounds, I like a higher density and also a longer time. You could also change the shape of these grains. But I think this is cool. Also, you can randomly modulate this, so you don't need to sacrifice all the random stuff here. You can just take this one. Also, the pitch can be modulated, which we don't want. Also, the direction can be modulated. If you have it in the middle position, 50% of the grains go forward and 50% go backwards. So what I would do for drone is pick a spot that I like. Of course, adjust the envelopes here. And then bring down the filter. Because this sample contains a chord already, it would not be something I play a melody with. It would sound a bit cheesy, because you would like have a stacked chord and then move it all the time. So this would be just for a single note thing, more like a drone. Let's copy this one by going on this little arrow here and say copy engine 1, and then you can copy it to engine 2. I deactivate engine 1 for a short time, and then I just pick another part of that sample. So this is like a darker tone. And then I can bring them both together. Yeah, why not? This could also be the time to introduce some distortion into the game. In the effect settings, we have a distortion algorithm. I start at 0 and dial it in to see what happens. Okay, so here is a little area where it kind of sounds good. Here it's too much. By the way, is this post or pre-filter? Ah, okay. That's too bad. It's always, I think, it's always post. Yeah. Routing. Okay, I see. Okay, they had the same idea as me. Yeah, this is good. Okay, that was a bit me thinking without telling you what I'm actually doing. My problem here is when I use this filter and then I apply the distortion, that the distortion is happening after the filter. And distortion is creating a lot of very high overtones, and I want these high overtones to be filtered out. So I'm using this filter here in the distortion section in this way. So now I can really drive up the distortion to a very high level and then filter out the high amount of noise. This is nice. We should have a little movement with the envelope here. So we are now getting a little bit into the dark ambient territory. And this sound screams for a nice reverb. Yeah, this is nice, I think. I would play a D. And then play another D an octave higher. That was me trying to stop the clip recording. Well, let's make another sound with samples. But this time it should be a sound that I can actually play, because this is just a drone going very deep. And then I want to have something that is suitable for playing a sound. Of course, I mean, it would be very obvious to take... Shut up. To take just the string sample. Ah, that's nice. About piano. Boat? What is that actually pronounced? Can please one of the English native speakers tell me? Yeah, this sounds nice. I want to copy that to the second engine, but pitch the second one an octave up, so that we have something like this. Then, of course, we need some envelopes. That's not a pad sound with these. boat. Ah, like boat. Boat? Is boat correct? Boat? A boat piano. I also want to learn something. It's not boat. Maybe you send me a voice message, please. Okay. Let me show you another trick that I like to do. And why isn't it locking to... Ah, it is. You see that I'm creating an envelope here in the function generator, which is basically giving me four steps. Of course, it's must. Yeah, and this one will now be applied to the resonance. Or maybe not. Maybe I want to use a second filter with a bandpass filter. Of course, in parallel mode. And then we can apply this to the second filter. Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, guess what? We need tons of delay and reverb here. I will use the echo. I use another echo. I created an echo patch, which I called Endless Echo. And then we take this guy. Yeah, I removed the lower version of that sample and just took the higher one. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, I think that sound doesn't really fit well to that drone that I created. Maybe it would be nice for that other set of clips that we recorded. Let's go back to that. And just give it a few notes. Just a few single notes, maybe. Chuck wants to know, have you used pigments as an effect yet with the audio input function? No, not really. It could be interesting for using the filters, I think, but I didn't do it yet. I saw one question from... where was it? Sudanda wants to know, I wonder how much of the other Arturia View Collection stuff do you use? Not much, to be honest. I use the Prophet VS sometimes. The Prophet VS, hello Neptune. Lucas here again. I use the Prophet VS sometimes. The DX7 also. That is also a nice, nice thing. But all the analog modeling stuff is not really my cup of tea. The SEM is something I also use. Where is it? This one. I also mapped it to my controller. Let's make it a bit smaller. So you see down here I can access my parameters easily. This sounds quite nice. I also like it because it has such a limited set of features, so it's very easy to draw together a nice sound quickly. That is something I like about the synthesizer. Well, if you have any more questions, please send them in now, because I think I will close the stream. Dimitri wants to know, hello, where did your OB6 go and why? Well, the OB6 is in my other room. I was a bit... how do I put it? It's very unstable with tuning. And I hate that. When I want to make music, I don't want to wait 3 hours until the synthesizer has stable tuning. That is extremely annoying. And so I just put it somewhere else. I didn't sell it, but right now I have the modular system here, which I also use for my music, but I'm not sure. I will probably put it back on the table somewhere, sometime, but not right now. Jura wants to know how to create warm sounds rather than cold. Good question. Usually a warm sound is associated with deeper frequencies. So when you use a synthesizer, I would probably try to have the filter closed rather than open, or use more detuning to have more frequencies going on in the mid-range, probably. But that's a very interesting question. Are you making other sound design videos with the virus? Well, I just did it last week, so I think I will take some time until I do another one. But please check the channel. There was a new video with the virus last week. UV Falcon, no, never. Russ wants to know why the switch from Ableton to Bitwig. Well, difficult question. There are a lot of things I like about Bitwig. For instance, these nice control macros that I can use with my MIDI fighter. I also like, again, I didn't use it today, but I also like these modulators. So if I have any parameter, I can just drag an LFO here and modulate it. This is something that is extremely nice. I know that Ableton has sort of a similar thing going on now with the new version, but this works much better and gives you also much more options. I could show that in another stream, I think. Yeah, also I was a bit unhappy with some performance things in Ableton. And yeah, so I just switched to Bitwig. Thanks for the Sunday evening. Yeah, you're welcome. Do you own the Instro? I don't know. No, I have no modules from Instro. Don't know what this actually does. Yeah, you did that virus sound with Pigments. Yeah, that's... it would probably also work the other way around to do the Pigments stuff I today did with the virus, maybe. Yeah. Russ, if you have latency issues with Bitwig and not with Ableton, I think it's about the configuration. I mean, you should probably check for this kind of stuff here. If you have selected the correct driver according to your hardware, of course, select the buffer size, everything, because if it works on your computer with Ableton, it should also work with Bitwig. I don't see a reason why it should not work with Bitwig if it works with Ableton. All right. A Granier model, yeah, great. I have the, what is it called from Mutable Instruments, that granular thing. I forgot the name. It's not here, it's in my other rack. I don't know what's it called. No, Neptune is not sleeping in the background, he's here. I can make him bigger, of course. So Neptune is here right now. And he wants some attention. So I think I will close this one for tonight. Like I mentioned before, I am planning on going on a specific topic each Sunday. All right, so next week will be the next home concert, and then March will be a bit tough because I will have a lot of gigs. I'm playing in Berlin. I have one gig in Wuppertal, maybe another one in Wuppertal, which will be a very special thing to talk about, but I can't disclose it yet. But I think I'm going for the Sundays with a production stream focused on a specific topic. So if you want to know something or want to see something, put it in the comments, and then I will decide what kind of topic I will pick for the Sunday streams. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. And yeah, stay safe, have a good day, and have fun creating music. Bye bye.